Hey y'all, hey, it's your girl, Tequila from Roger That Podcast. Okay, so if you know me, you know I love my girls from Poor Minds. And if you really know me, you know I don't play about homegirls and friends. Like I really don't play about them. So with that being said, it's not sitting well with me with Miss Toya Kent coming and trying to shame or shade Lex P. Because first of all, we've in my era, we've been one or the other. Okay, we've been a Toya or we have been a Lex. So I'm an analyst. Like seriously, I'm going to analyze.
I keep saying this: men get to leave situations with no scratches. They get to move on, be happy. I just saw a lady on TikTok say that. She said, why is it fair that I got cheated on? The side woman knew that he was married, knew that he had a family, and now he left me and my child. Now he gets to go start a new family, and I have to approve of my child being around the woman, and I just got to smile and cheese through it. While I don't agree with people's actions, I do think sometimes women they have a right to be upset, and sometimes these niggas need to get slapped.
But nobody is saying that you don't have a right to be upset. I think it's just all about how you carry shit and how you handle stuff. Like, to me, the ultimate revenge is leaving people in the dust and not fucking with them no more. Like, doing all of that extra shit, I just be thinking you're bothered. Like, you're very...
Of course!
Yes, and I get it, you should be, but also move on with your life. Leave that person in the dust. Like, I don't think you reap good benefits or positive benefits or yield positive results in life when you do evil shit to people on purpose. Yes, granted, this nigga was evil towards you, so you gonna turn into an evil person too? Versus still being a good person.
I agree with you because that's the road I always take. But I also
what you said, I don't know, queen, because you be caping for bitches when they be doing crazy shit.
I understand where you're coming from. I personally wouldn't do it.
So then I think you should say that instead of being like, I feel like it be okay when women do.
Because it does.
But it really don't, though. It's not okay when nobody do the shit. It's not okay when men do it. It's not okay when women do it. It's not okay when humans do fucked up shit to each other.
So my take on that is both parties, my baby daddy and Lex, they both played their part. And when I say they did their big one, they did their big one. And the reason for me even doing this, because honestly, y'all, I was triggered. I was triggered at the common sense that Lex had to say, like, a man needs to be slapped. But it was the lack of accountability that she had for herself and being an active participant in that situation. That betrayal, y'all, did not just affect me. It affected my entire household. It affected my kids. It affected my mindset. I literally had to operate off of a broken heart. Do you understand me? A broken heart. And for years, I allowed people to call me bitter. I allowed people to call me evil. I allowed people to call me mean. And I never once addressed what betrayal has done to me. I just tried to work my way through it, try to boss up from it. But at the end of the day, when somebody in your mind, and when that person is your forever person and you are betrayed by them, it changed your whole outlook on life, on love, on family. And that's what it done to me. I went through therapy, intensive therapy. 1 year I had 3 therapists at one time. Do you understand me? My kids was uprooted from our family home because I could not be in that home no longer without him. So I had to go and buy this house that I'm in now. We are now a divided family from betrayal, from the mindsets of women like Lex P. Not to say this is her mindset now. I'm giving her grace because she's probably outgrown from being a participant in that for that long period of time. But I'm saying the mindsets of women, you do not understand that you do not only affect that person's significant other if there are other people involved. Now, it would have been probably easier for me to move on if I didn't have children, if this wasn't their dad and stepdad. But that wasn't the case. a lot of my anger has been towards him. Because how could you say you love me? How could you sleep with me every night and knowing that you had a secret relationship with somebody else? How can you always accuse me of cheating? Always accuse me of cheating, but you had an active 6-year relationship. Now, I only know all of this information from watching the podcast because I did become a fan of the podcast. Like, they are a wonderful dynamic. Like, they are so entertaining. But as she started giving him a code name called Rapper Bae, I started putting the pieces together. And then that's what gave my confirmation, because me and Lex worked together at a nightclub for 4 years. And in those 4 years, she was dealing with him. Now, I didn't know, but what gave me an inkling was once I left the nightclub industry, I became a business owner. And so I haven't been on the night scene for a while, it was some years. And so I was happy to see Lex when I returned to the nightclub, just a night out. But Lex was still working there. And I seen her and I wanted to embrace her and say, hey girl, how you doing? Like, I screamed her name from across the bar and she stopped like a deer in headlights. And she just stood there frozen. And I turned around and I'm like, Lex, you good? Like, hey. And she just stopped. But then I noticed her eyes pivoted towards this guy who is my baby daddy's cousin. So when her eyes darted directly to him and I followed her eyes, I literally was like, what? I was like, and so when I looked back at her, she still was just like, and at that moment, I was just like, all right, she must have messed with my baby daddy, or they must be messing around right now. Hopefully it ain't nothing serious. I never addressed it because I truly hoped that it was just like a one-time thing or it wasn't nothing serious. It wasn't until her podcast that she admitted that they've been doing what they've been doing for 6 years. Mind you, I was with this man for 8 years. So I'm just truly triggered, on the podcast where you can say the consequences for a man doing what he does and leaving the woman with the baggage, and he gets to go on and live his life. And then you have no consequences for the woman that played an active role. You are that woman, Lex P, and you don't owe me no apology. It would have been nice because I knew you. We knew each other. We worked together for 4 years. But however, if you're going to use your podcast, don't use it in a way that shadows your wrongdoing. Because you was wrong. You was wrong. I'm still healing from that because my outlook on love has altered. My mindset has truly changed. My trust level with people is shot. Okay? Because a person can know you and still do you wrong. A person can lay with you and love you, still do you wrong. A person can build with you and have a family with you and still do you wrong. So that situation altered me, and I don't care about anybody saying, Toya, well, you need to move on, or Toya, you bitter, or Toya, ma'am, listen, that was my person. That was who I stamped as the man of my household, the father of my child, my children, because they saw him my other 2 kids saw him as their dad. And I don't have family. That was all the family I had. I built that family dynamic, because it's one thing when I came from a family that I couldn't have. I didn't choose that family. So I don't have family, but the family that I created, that was broken. That was divided by people and they selfish acts. And guess what? People get to go on and have successful podcasts, go on, get to have successful rap careers. And me, I'm dwindling down in my businesses because my mind cannot operate off of the hurt, the pain, the betrayal, the broken heart. And it's so much came on me. And so for people that just be like, move on, this is not an intentional position or state that a woman that has the livelihoods of many on her hands want to be. But this is where I am. And I can't hide it no more. Imagine grieving somebody and they still alive. Imagine grieving these memories. It's unfair and it's disheartening. And I'm not doing this to bash Lex or my baby daddy, because the situation is done. The only person recovering is Toya. But I'm putting this out there for people that have the mindsets of Lex P's or the mindset she had. Y'all deal with somebody that ain't got no family, or deal with somebody that ain't, you know what I'm saying, in a relationship. But do y'all understand, like, the damage control that y'all do? It's unreal. It's unreal. Some people like myself take years to recover, because in my mind, in my soul, he was a part of my lifetime. So y'all don't get to tell people how to move on. Y'all don't get to tell people how to heal. And most of all, being an active participant, you don't get to dish out consequences if you don't have none for your own.
The whole situation to really get a understanding of the, what's going on. So Miss Girlll say she was with old dude for 8 years. She's claiming that Lex was with old dude for 6 years. And yeah, I believe it. Lex kept it under wraps. She's always referred to him as Rapper Bay. I was like, who the fuck is Rapper Bay? Who is Rapper Bay? So finally we know, okay, it's Propane. I'm looking at him and looking at Lex. I'm like, girl, okay. But as we all know, he is a local Houston rapper. Just as majority of the black populated cities, you have somebody that's local in your city that's going to be a rapper, a singer, regardless of what they do, they're doing something, and it's local in your city. So he's not like this guy that's just all over the place. And when I look at him, he look like the type of dudes that me, myself, I would probably mess with, or probably have messed with in the back in the day or whatever. And he probably got a little bread or whatever because he's doing these shows. And I'm not just going to say he's just local. Like, he's like more going to be more so known there. And he probably does opening acts, looks like, for Slim Thug and Paul Wall. So now I'm putting two and two together. Like, that's how, she been mingling, and she bringing him on, he bringing her on. But whatever. The focus is, Toya, you a real definition of a goofy. Delulu goofy. Let me put Delulu goofy in that, because I could be wrong, but you said you and Lex worked in the club for 4 years. Lex been fooling with him for 6. You been fooling with him for 8. So somewhere in between that time, this definitely wasn't a thing where Lex knew that you were messing with him first. I do feel like they were both engaged with him. And yes, I have been in a situation where it's like, I met the dude and I knew nothing about the girl, and I'm too far deep. So who makes you the obligated one? Oh, because you're a baby mama. And then on top of that, you're a baby mama, give you grace and say you baby mama times 2, but you have 2 kids, so you could very well have been his baby mama number 3. Okay, but that's neither here or there. People have kids by people, whatever. But if anybody thinks like you do, I'm going to keep praying for y'all, because ain't no way I'm fixing to sit here and let anything of the such bother me for years later on down the line. And then you didn't even think this out, girl. You just came on because, first of all, my girls are up there. When I say they up there, they're up there. They're really, really up there. Somewhere that you're trying to get. And I guess people know you. You do the hair thing. I'm not a big thing with following the who's, you local celebrities or Instagram celebrities. I'm not a big thing of that. So when it comes to that part, it's, to me, you are clearly attempting to gain clout off of the familiar I don't know how to pronounce words, but that poor minds being famous, Lex P being famous, Drea being famous, and you've only provided them with more notoriety than what they already have. These girls have been to the BET Awards and actually doing hosting things, you know what I'm saying? And then it came to the end of the little setup where you set up there and said your business is declining because of your mental. People have gone on and had successful podcasts, and he has a successful rap career. Hater, hater, hater. I'm going to need you to rethink that and come back with some more facts, some more receipts to show where you are credible and what makes you feel as if you are credible to be someone that's coming for my girl, Lex P of Poor Minds. And Lex, I love you, girl. I've been on them. I got an old girl inbox. I've been commenting on people from the podcast page and everything, and I don't mind saying it, but I'm here for it. Don't play with me and my homegirl. That's my homegirl, my real homegirl. And yes, I have met them on stage when we were in New Orleans, blah, blah, blah. But it just really doesn't make any sense. I could never see Lex as being a home wrecker, because what home did she wreck other than a home where you and this man? And then on top of that, this is what I forgot to say. With him being the type of guy that he is, that man he just wasn't with you. He wasn't just with Lex. And I think I'm assuming that Lex probably was like, man, you got too much going on. You got this girl here. So when the deer in headlights part comes on, she probably like, oh my God, this girl coming to confront me. That's all that was. It wasn't a guilt trip. It wasn't anything. It's just like, oh my God, I ain't prepared for this. This girl fits to come in here and try to confront me. And no, a work friend is not a friend, baby. All we do is go to work together. You ain't said y'all hung out. All y'all did was came to work. Y'all probably hee-heed and ha-ha at work. But what makes you obligated to feel as if Lex P owes you any type of empathy? Because I don't have no empathy for nothing like that. But anywho, this is my opinion. This is how I feel. And I'm standing on that. So whoever doesn't like it and wants to shame me or whatever you want to say, go for it. But this is how I feel. All right, y'all. Bye. Let me get my day started. Bye.